Number 15. Government Housing Success Story. One of the biggest surprises about Singapore is that the vast majority of its citizens live in government-built housing. In many countries, public housing is often associated with poverty or low-income communities. But Singapore completely changed that perception. Today, more than 80% of Singapore's resident population lives in apartments developed by the Housing and Development Board, commonly known as HDB. Even more surprising, nearly 90% of those residents actually own their homes rather than rent them. These are not temporary housing projects. They are modern residential communities filled with schools, parks, shopping centers, sports facilities, clinics, and efficient public transportation. Many HDB neighborhoods look more like carefully planned private developments than traditional public housing. Some newer apartment complexes even include rooftop gardens, fitness areas, and environmentally friendly designs. This housing system has played a major role in shaping modern Singapore. Despite being one of the most densely populated countries on Earth, the city-state has managed to provide quality housing for millions of people while maintaining a high standard of living. Number 14. The airport everyone visits. Most airports are simply places people pass through. Singapore turned its airport into one of the country's biggest attractions. Every year, tens of millions of passengers travel through jeweled Changi Airport, a massive entertainment and lifestyle complex connected to Singapore Changi Airport. At its center stands the Rain Vortex, the world's tallest indoor waterfall, plunging approximately 40 meters from a glass dome surrounded by thousands of trees and plants. What makes this even more remarkable is that many visitors come here without boarding a flight at all. Families spend entire weekends exploring indoor forests, walking trails, gardens, restaurants, movie theaters, and shopping areas. The complex contains attractions that would normally be found in a major theme park rather than an airport terminal. Changi Airport itself consistently ranks among the best airports in the world. Beyond transportation, it offers butterfly gardens, art installations, rest areas, and facilities designed to make long layovers surprisingly enjoyable. The airport serves as one of Asia's most important aviation hubs, connecting travelers to hundreds of destinations across the globe. Number 13. Rich without natural resources. Most wealthy countries have something valuable beneath their soil: oil, natural gas, gold, vast farmland, or enormous reserves of natural resources. Singapore has almost none of these advantages. This tiny island nation covers only about 735 square kilometers and possesses virtually no significant natural resources. It imports most of its food, buys much of its water from external sources, or produces it through advanced treatment systems, and has no major oil or mineral reserves. On paper, Singapore should never have become one of the world's richest countries. Yet the reality is exactly the opposite. After gaining independence in 1965, Singapore faced enormous challenges. Unemployment was high, resources were limited, and many experts doubted the country's future. Today, Singapore has one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world and ranks among the leading global centers for finance, technology, shipping, and international trade. Its success comes from a different kind of resource: people. The government invested heavily in education, infrastructure, business development, and long-term planning. Its strategic location along some of the world's busiest shipping routes also helped transform the country into a global commercial hub. Number 12, the city of unbelievable order. One of the first things visitors notice in Singapore is how incredibly clean, organized, and orderly everything feels. Streets are spotless, public transportation runs efficiently, and even in crowded areas, chaos seems surprisingly rare. What makes this even more remarkable is that Singapore is one of the most densely populated countries in the world, with nearly 6 million people living on a relatively small island. In many major cities, such density often creates congestion and disorder. Singapore took a very different path. The country is famous for its strict approach to urban management and public order. Clear regulations, consistent enforcement, and long-term planning have helped create one of the safest urban environments on Earth. Crime rates remain among the lowest in the world, allowing many residents to feel comfortable using public spaces at almost any hour. But Singapore's success goes beyond rules alone. Massive investments in education, public services, transportation, and community development have helped create a culture where people generally respect shared spaces. Public housing estates, parks, train stations, and city centers are maintained to exceptionally high standards. Number 11, a city covered in gardens. Imagine a futuristic skyline where giant trees glow at night. Skyscrapers are wrapped in vegetation, and lush tropical gardens exist in the heart of a global financial center. That is everyday life in Singapore. Despite being one of the most urbanized countries on Earth, Singapore has earned the nickname the Garden City. In fact, nearly half of the nation's land area is covered by greenery, an astonishing achievement for a country with such limited space. Instead of allowing urban development to replace nature, Singapore integrated the two together. One of the most famous examples is Gardens by the Bay, where futuristic super trees rise up to 50 meters tall and support thousands of plants from around the world. Nearby, climate-controlled conservatories recreate environments ranging from Mediterranean landscapes to misty cloud forests. The commitment to greenery extends far beyond tourist attractions. Trees line major roads, rooftop gardens sit atop residential and commercial buildings, and elevated green corridors connect different parts of the city. Singapore even requires many new developments to include environmental features that help increase urban greenery. Number 10. The world's most expensive cars. Owning a car is considered normal in many countries. In Singapore, it can cost more than buying a luxury home in some parts of the world. Because land is extremely limited, Singapore has spent decades controlling the number of vehicles on its roads. The most unusual part of this system is the Certificate of Entitlement, or COE. Before someone can even own a car, they must first win the right to register one through a bidding process. These certificates are valid for only 10 years and can cost tens of thousands of dollars on their own. As a result, the final price of a vehicle can become astonishingly high. A standard family car that might cost a modest amount in other countries can end up costing well over $100,000 in Singapore after taxes, registration fees, and the COE are added. Even some economy cars can become more expensive than luxury vehicles elsewhere. Yet this system has helped Singapore avoid the severe traffic congestion seen in many major cities. Instead of relying heavily on private vehicles, most residents use an extensive public transportation network that includes modern MRT trains, buses, and walkable urban neighborhoods. Number 9. One of the world's busiest ports. Every day, thousands of massive cargo ships pass through the waters surrounding Singapore. From above, the coastline often looks like a parking lot filled with giant vessels stretching toward the horizon. Despite its small size, Singapore operates one of the busiest and most important ports on the planet. Located along the Strait of Malacca, one of the world's most critical shipping routes, the country sits at a crossroads connecting Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. Nearly everything from electronics and automobiles to food and raw materials passes through these waters. The scale is difficult to imagine. Millions of shipping containers move through Singapore's terminals every year, making it one of the largest container ports in the world. Advanced automation, cutting-edge logistics systems, and around-the-clock operations allow cargo to be transferred with remarkable efficiency. The port has played a huge role in Singapore's rise from a small trading outpost to a global economic powerhouse. Although the country lacks major natural resources, it transformed its strategic location into one of its greatest advantages. Today, countless international companies use Singapore as a gateway to markets across Asia and beyond. Number 8. Different cultures, one neighborhood. Many countries have diverse populations, but few have integrated different communities as successfully as Singapore. Walk through a typical residential neighborhood, and you may find Chinese, Malay, Indian, and other families living in the same apartment block, sharing the same parks, schools, and public spaces. Singapore is one of the most multicultural nations in Asia. The country officially recognizes multiple ethnic groups and 4 official languages: English, Mandarin Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. Street signs, government information, and public services often reflect this unique cultural mix. What makes Singapore especially unusual is that diversity is not left entirely to chance. Housing policies were designed to encourage a balanced mix of communities within public housing estates. As a result, many neighborhoods reflect the country's overall ethnic composition rather than becoming heavily divided into separate districts. This cultural diversity is visible everywhere. A short walk through the city can take you from colorful Hindu temples to historic mosques, traditional Chinese temples, and modern churches. Festivals such as Chinese New Year, Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Deepavali, and Christmas are celebrated throughout the country, creating a calendar filled with cultural traditions from around the world. Number 7. The country that keeps growing. Most countries remain the same size for centuries. Singapore is one of the rare exceptions. Despite being a small island nation, it has been steadily increasing its land area for decades. Since gaining independence in 1965, Singapore has expanded its territory by more than 25% through large-scale land reclamation projects. In simple terms, the country has literally created new land from the sea. What was once open water has been transformed into residential districts, industrial zones, airports, ports, parks, and commercial developments. This expansion was driven by necessity. With a growing population, limited space, and ambitious economic goals, Singapore needed room to develop. Instead of accepting its geographical limits, the country invested heavily in engineering projects that reshaped parts of its coastline. One of the most famous examples is Marina Bay. Decades ago, much of this area was open water. Today, it is home to some of Singapore's most recognizable landmarks: luxury hotels, financial centers, entertainment venues, and public spaces. Similar transformations can be found across the island. Number 6. Michelin meals for a few dollars. In many parts of the world, Michelin-recognized food is associated with luxury restaurants, elegant dining rooms, and expensive tasting menus. Singapore completely changed that idea. The city is famous for its hawker centers, massive food complexes where hundreds of vendors serve freshly prepared meals from small stalls. These bustling food halls are deeply woven into daily life, attracting office workers, families, students, and tourists alike. What makes them truly remarkable is that some stalls have received international recognition, including Michelin awards and recommendations. Visitors are often shocked to discover that dishes praised by food experts can sometimes cost only a few dollars. A simple plate of chicken rice, noodles, or local specialties may deliver world-class flavors without the world-class price tag. This rare combination of quality and affordability has helped make Singapore one of the world's most celebrated food destinations. The country's culinary scene reflects its multicultural identity. Chinese, Malay, Indian, Peranakan, and international influences blend together to create an extraordinary variety of flavors. A single hawker center can offer dozens of different cuisines under one roof, allowing people to experience dishes from multiple cultures during a single meal. Number 5. Asia's Millionaire Magnet. For such a small country, Singapore attracts an astonishing amount of wealth. Over the past few decades, it has become one of the world's leading financial centers and a preferred destination for entrepreneurs, investors, and high-net-worth individuals from across the globe. Today, Singapore consistently ranks among the wealthiest nations when measured by GDP per capita. Major international banks, investment firms, technology companies, and multinational corporations have established regional headquarters here. The country's political stability, strong legal system, modern infrastructure, and business-friendly environment have made it one of the most attractive places in Asia to build and protect wealth. What surprises many visitors is how concentrated this success is. Within a relatively small area, some of the world's most expensive office towers, luxury residences, and financial institutions stand side by side. Districts such as the Marina Bay financial area have become symbols of Singapore's transformation from a modest trading port into a global economic powerhouse. Number 4. The train system everyone uses. In many major cities, public transportation is considered a backup option. In Singapore, it is the backbone of everyday life. Every day, millions of passengers rely on the country's mass rapid transit system, better known as the MRT. Stretching across the island, the network connects residential neighborhoods, business districts, airports, shopping centers, universities, and major attractions with remarkable efficiency. For most residents, owning a car is not necessary because the public transportation system is designed to be fast, reliable, and accessible. One of the most impressive aspects of the MRT is its punctuality. Trains arrive frequently throughout the day, allowing commuters to travel across the city with minimal waiting time. The stations are clean, modern, air-conditioned, and integrated with bus services, making transfers simple and convenient. Singapore has continued expanding the network for decades. New lines and stations regularly open as part of long-term development plans, helping ensure that public transportation keeps pace with population growth. Today, the rail network covers hundreds of kilometers and serves nearly every major part of the country. Number 3. A country with no states. Most countries are divided into provinces, states, or regions. Singapore is different. The entire nation functions as a single city, making it one of the very few true city-states in the modern world. Covering just over 730 square kilometers, Singapore is smaller than many cities around the globe. Yet, within this compact area lives a population of nearly 6 million people. Instead of managing dozens of regional governments, Singapore operates through a highly centralized system that oversees everything from transportation and housing to education and urban planning. This unique structure allows long-term national plans to be implemented with remarkable efficiency. Major infrastructure projects, transportation networks, and housing developments can be coordinated across the entire country rather than divided among competing regional authorities. The result is a level of urban organization that often surprises visitors. The country's small size also creates some unusual realities. It is possible to travel from one end of Singapore to the other in less than an hour. International airports, financial districts, nature reserves, beaches, industrial zones, and residential neighborhoods all exist within a relatively short distance of each other. Number 2. The city planned decades ahead. Many cities grow by reacting to problems as they appear. Singapore does the opposite. It often plans for challenges decades before they arrive. One of the most remarkable aspects of Singapore is its long-term approach to development. Urban planners regularly create strategies that look 20, 30, or even 50 years into the future. Everything from transportation networks and housing estates to water security and economic growth is carefully considered as part of a national vision. This forward-thinking approach can be seen across the country. New MRT lines are often planned years before demand reaches its peak. Residential neighborhoods are designed alongside schools, parks, healthcare facilities, and transportation links. Even future population growth is incorporated into development plans long before new communities are built. Singapore's success in water management is another striking example. With limited natural freshwater resources, the country invested heavily in reservoirs, desalination technology, and advanced water recycling systems. Today, Singapore is recognized globally for its innovative approach to water security. Number 1. From poor island to global giant. Just a few generations ago, few people would have predicted that Singapore would become one of the most successful countries in the world. When it gained independence in 1965, the situation looked uncertain. The nation had limited land, almost no natural resources, high unemployment, and a population facing significant economic challenges. At the time, many observers doubted whether such a small island could survive on its own. Yet Singapore would go on to achieve one of the most extraordinary economic transformations in modern history. Over the following decades, the country focused heavily on education, infrastructure, international trade, manufacturing, technology, and financial services. Strategic planning, investment in human capital, and a commitment to long-term development helped transform Singapore into a major global hub connecting East and West. Today, Singapore consistently ranks among the world's leading economies by GDP per capita. Its airport is considered one of the best on Earth. Its port is among the busiest, and its financial sector plays a critical role in the global economy. Despite covering less land than many major cities, Singapore has become a center for innovation, business, and international commerce. Singapore may be one of the smallest countries on Earth, but its achievements are truly extraordinary. Which fact surprised you the most? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing travel documentaries from around the world. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching.